In the world of retirement planning, there is a number that feels like a brick wall, 59.5. We are told from the day we open our first 401k that this is the golden age. If you touch your money before 59.5, the IRS hits you with a brutal 10% early withdrawal penalty on top of the income taxes you already owe. For decades, this number has acted as a psychological and financial anchor, forcing millions of people to stay in jobs they hate just to avoid the taxman's tax. But what if I told you there was a backdoor out of the workforce? A legitimate IRS-sanctioned loophole that allows you to start spending your hard-earned savings as early as age 55, or even 50 for some professions, without giving the government an extra cent in penalties. It's called the Rule of 55. It is one of the most powerful tools for early retirement, yet it's buried so deep in the tax code that even some financial advisors forget it exists. Today, we're breaking down the walls of the 59.5 prison. We're showing you exactly how the Rule of 55 works, the one job trap that could ruin your plan, and the math of the early exit, the anatomy of the loophole. The Rule of 55 isn't a glitch, it's a specific provision in the Internal Revenue Code under Section 72T. It states that if you are an employee who leaves your job, whether you quit, get fired, or are laid off, during or after the calendar year in which you turn 55, you can take penalty-free distributions from your current employer's 401k or 403b plan. Notice the wording, during or after the calendar year. This means if your 55th birthday is in December, you could technically leave your job in January of that same year and still qualify. You don't have to wait for the candles on the cake. For public safety employees, like police officers, firefighters, and air traffic controllers, this age is actually lowered to 50. This is the government acknowledging that some careers are too taxing to maintain into your 60s. It's a get-out-of-jail-early card for the people who need it most. The current plan trap, the mistake that costs thousands. Here is where most people get burned. The Rule of 55 is exclusive to your most recent employer's plan. If you have $500,000 in a 401k from a company you left when you were 45 and $100,000 in your current 401k at age 55, the Rule of 55 only applies to that $100,000. If you try to pull from the old plan, the 10% penalty kicks back in. To make this work, many savvy retirees perform a consolidation maneuver. Before they hunker down and retire, they roll their old 401ks into their current employer's plan. By centralizing their wealth, they unlock the entire balance for penalty-free withdrawals at 55. But be warned, you must do this before you separate from service. Once you hand in your badge and walk out the door to consolidation usually slams shut. The mid-roll hook, the IRA caveat. There is a massive misconception that the Rule of 55 applies to IRAs. It doesn't. If you take your 401k and roll it into a traditional IRA, you just reset the clock back to 59.5. This is the single biggest mistake early retirees make. They think they're being smart by moving to an IRA for better investment options, but they accidentally lock their money away for another 4.5 years. In the second half of this script, we're going to look at the checklist of certainty, the exact steps you need to take to ensure your HR department doesn't accidentally block your withdrawal. We'll also look at the bridge strategy to get you from 55 to the start of Social Security. But first, if you believe that retirement should be on your terms, not the government's, hit that subscribe button. We are unmasking the tax secrets that the 1% use to retire decades early. Join the movement. Now let's talk about the employer option. The employer option, does your boss allow it? The IRS says you can use the Rule of 55, but they don't say your employer must let you. Every 401k plan has a summary plan description. Some companies, in an effort to keep costs low and paperwork simple, do not allow partial distributions. They might tell you that if you want your money, you have to take the whole balance at once. This is a nightmare. Taking a $1 million in 401k in a single year would trigger a massive tax bill, potentially pushing you into the highest 37% tax bracket. Before you commit to an early retirement at 55, you need to call your plan administrator and ask 2 specific questions. 1. Does this plan support the Rule of 55? And 2. Do you allow recurring partial withdrawals? If the answer is no, you might need to stay employed just long enough to lobby for a plan change or find a secondary bridge of capital. The bridge strategy, math over emotion. Retiring at 55 creates a gap year problem. You are too young for Medicare, which starts at 65, and too young for full Social Security benefits, which start at 67. The Rule of 55 provides the income, but it doesn't provide the security. The math of an early exit requires you to use the rule of 55 distributions to cover your basics, housing, food, and high-quality health insurance, while leaving your other investments, like Roth IRAs or brokerage accounts, to continue compounding. By using the tax-deferred money first via the rule of 55, you are effectively lowering your future required minimum distributions, RMDs. It's a rare win-win. You get money now, and you potentially pay less in taxes when you're 80. The sunk cost of staying. We have to address the hunker-down psychology we see in 2026. Many people stay in jobs they dislike because they fear the 10% penalty. They look at their $2 million portfolio and think, I can't afford a $200,000 penalty. But the rule of 55 proves that the penalty is often an illusion. When you factor in the value of time, those 5 prime years between 55 and 60, the cost of staying is often much higher than the cost of leaving. These are the years when you still have your health, your mobility, and your desire to explore. If you stay at a desk just to avoid a penalty that you don't even have to pay, you are committing a time theft against yourself. The rule of 55 isn't just a tax loophole, it's a life reclamation strategy. The checklist of certainty. Before you announce your retirement, here is your 4-step rule of 55 checklist. Consolidate. Move old 401k funds into your current plan. Verify. Get in writing that your current plan allows for rule of 55 partial withdrawals. Plan the separation. Ensure your official end date is in the calendar year you turn 55 or later. Don't roll over. Whatever you do, do not roll the money into an IRA if you plan on spending it before 59.5. If you follow these steps, the 10% penalty becomes a thing of the past. You are no longer a crypto fugitive or a zombie business owner, you are a free agent. The ultimate freedom variable. Beyond the spreadsheets and the tax codes, the ultimate variable in this math is you. Whether you choose the volatility of the ticker or the tangibility of the tenant, the only true failure is staying on the sidelines out of fear of a penalty that has a built-in exit. We are living through an era where the middle class is being squeezed by the very assets they're told to buy, meaning your strategy must be more than just buy and hold. It must be a deliberate, calculated defense against the erosion of your purchasing power and the theft of your time. Wealth isn't found in a specific asset class or a specific age. It's found in the discipline to keep your capital working and the knowledge to unlock it when the opportunity arises. Choose your vehicle, master its mechanics, and start driving toward your own definition of freedom. The exit is open. The rule of 55 is the best-kept secret in the retirement world. It is the bridge between the rags to riches dream and the reality of a comfortable early exit. The IRS has left the door unlocked. All you have to do is be brave enough to walk through it. Are you planning on an early exit? What's the biggest thing stopping you from retiring at 55? Let's talk about the obstacles and the opportunities in the comments. And for a look at the one financial mistake every generation repeats that can help fund those early retirement years, watch this video next. See you in the next one.